Leertaste.
Flightsim.
Hello everyone and welcome to this 500 subscriber special video. As you might have already realized, judging from the title of this video, I'm playing Flightsim again, which is my newest project, which is still in development, so not downloadable yet, but I'm still developing it. And I'll be showing off a few extra features today. So, first of all, I'll work without checklists again because I'm going to spend most of my time talking, and it's pretty annoying if my JAWS speaks whilst I'm talking. By the way, if there are some German words, especially keystrokes, I don't know why that is, because I switched my JAWS voice over to German, to English. To German, of course. German's my normal language. Anyway, to English. So that shouldn't happen, but it does. Please don't be confused. All the important bits should be in English. Anyway,
Runway awareness system
let's
engaged.
get the battery started
Self-test passed.
and figure out how much fuel we actually need.
Autopilot, engine instrument FMS, status page. Cruising flight level, 400. Minimum fuel, 34,541.
Okay, so we're crossing the Atlantic, so put in a little bit
FMS, flight
more.
level, number of souls, maximum number of passengers, 300 current weight, 156,100 NLW, 270,000 MTOW, 316,000 NLW current weight, 156,168. Second fuel you'd like to dump,
No, I don't want to dump fuel.
500, 0.
Why are you? Okay. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. There's a new feature now, a ramp agent,
Choose an option. Passengers, fuel.
which we can bring up with F4. So
Second fuel you'd like to lift up, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000,
50,000 kilos. That should be enough.
2,100, 2,950,
And that's the fuel increasing.
4,215. Choose an option. Passengers,
Let's get our passengers on board and
choose an option. Passenger, cargo, de-icing, catering, pushback, catering.
catering. The other options don't do anything for this plane because we don't have cargo on an A350 1,000 passenger plane. And also de-icing and pushback isn't integrated as of now. Anyway,
Pre-flight flows completed. Pre-flight checklist completed.
let's
Before stop checklist completed. Engine
mark
stop
all
checklist
these
completed.
checklists as complete.
Before taxi checklist completed. Taxi checklist completed. Before takeoff checklist completed. After takeoff checklist completed. Climb out checklist
I
completed.
turned down the volume
Cruise
slightly.
and descent preparation completed. Approach checklist completed. Landing checklist completed. After landing checklist completed. 35,665.
So let's get the APU started.
Parking and shutdown checklist completed. Securing aircraft completed.
Thrown out.
Securing aircraft completed. Overhead FMS. Data panel. Overhead panel. Flat split IRS. Calibrate. IRS. Active. Flat split system reset. Spoiler computer. Inactive. Spoiler computer. Fuel pumps. Inactive. Fuel pumps. Active. Generators. Inactive. Generators. Active. Wind screen window heat. Inactive. Wind generators. Generators. Inactive. Radios active. 121.7.
That's our ground frequency.
Frequency. Set frequency in Gulf, Israel.
Oh, I didn't actually tell you what we're flying today. We're flying from London to New York, so Echo Golf Lima Lima to Kilo
Speedbird
Juliet
500 Heavy,
Foxtrot Kilo.
cleared to John F. Kennedy International Airport, Squawk 6511. Advise when
Squawk.
ready
6
for
code in Gulf,
departure.
Israel. Flightsim. Engine start.
Probably can't do that yet, but I'll show off something
Speedbird
new.
500 Heavy, do not start your engines.
Wind screen light generators. Inactive. Wind screen wipers. Inactive. Window heat. Inactive. Window heat. Probe heat. Probe heat. Engine anti-ice. Inactive. Electric hydraulic pumps. Electric hydraulic pumps. Active. Packs. Inactive. Cabin out IRS. Active. Cabin packs. In lighting panel. Logo lights. Navigation. Navigation. Cabin lights. Cabin lights. Emergency. Emergency. Landing lights. Landing lights. Runway. Taxi lights. Strobe lights. Strobe lights. Active. Overhead panel. Cabin altitude. 0. IRS. Active. Flaps position. 0. System reset. Spoiler computer. Active. Fuel pumps. Active. Generators. Inactive. 1 plus F. 0. Second flaps. 1. 1 plus F.
Let's push up the flaps.
50,996. 50,996.
Okay, so the fueling process is finished now.
FMS, FMS, takeoff later, FMS, NLW, 270,000, current weight, 238, maximum number of passengers, 369, current weight, MTOW, 316,000, NLW, current weight, maximum number of passengers, 369, number of souls, 323, number of souls, 327,
Ah, there are still passengers boarding, that's why I can't start my engines yet.
number of souls, 341, number of souls, 346, maximum number of passengers, 369, number of souls, 353, number of souls, 357, number of souls, 362, number of souls, 365, number of souls, 365, number of souls, 365,
Okay, so we're practically completely full. Good.
engine start,
Let's get our engine start clearance.
max slash RTO,
That was the auto
Speedbird
brake. There are some
500 Heavy,
differences.
permission to start your engines.
Thank you.
engine 1 starting,
There are some differences between Boeing and Airbus planes. regarding the system architecture and names. And I did try to include most of those differences. So one of them is the different naming scheme for auto brake settings. Another one is a slightly different autopilot system, all that fun stuff. And of course, some different names. So what Boeing calls level change, for example, would be the open climate descent on an Airbus, or what Boeing calls VNAV is managed climate descent on Airbus. Auto throttle equals auto thrust, all that stuff. So, yeah. Our left trend engine is already spooling up. It should be done pretty soon. It is already showing an N1 value.
Engine 1 operational. Engine 2 starting. FMS, engine instrument autopilot. HDG 0, inactive. Speed 0. Engines take off runway. Max up speed 0.
Let's request takeoff.
Speed 200. Speed
Speedbird
220.
500 heavy, taxi to and hold short up runway 27 left.
Okay, we can't taxi yet.
Select the takeoff runway lead 27R, length 12,009R, left 27R, length 12,000, width 164.
On runway 27.
And just jump
Engine
over
instrument
there.
FMS, overhead panel. Wind generators, inactive.
Speedbird
Generators,
500
active. Wind screen
heavy,
wipers, inactive. Window heat,
contact
active.
tower on
Phone heat, active.
118.5. Bye-bye.
118.5, London Heathrow Airport Tower. Frequency, set frequency in airfield. Israel. Flightsim.
Speedbird 500 heavy, good afternoon, radar contact established.
Engine anti-ice, inactive. Phone heat, active. Engine anti-ice, wind anti-ice. Electric hydraulic pumps, active. Pax, inactive.
On runway 27 left.
The right engine's almost finished.
Engine 2 operational. Pax, auto.
There it is. The packs are active. Our flight control surfaces work as intended. Awesome!
FMS, engine autopilot. Max select, 0. Speed, 220.
Let's
max
see
select,
if
0.
I
Max select, 0.85.
set
Speed,
everything
HDG, manage
correctly
CLD slash DU select,
over
0.
here.
Runway
All select, 5,000.
An initial altitude of 5,000. That's what I usually put in.
0. 270, manage CLD HDG, 0. HDG, 270, inactive.
Runway heading for the heading select. So, then, let's get our takeoff clearance.
Landing clear, takeoff clearance.
Speedbird 500 heavy, wind 182 degrees at 10 knots, runway 27 left cleared for takeoff.
Weather, pressure, 1002. Wind from 192 degrees at 14 knots. Gusts up.
7
Okay.
left.
Parking brake inactive.
Engine stabilized. Takeoff power set.
88% at 1, airspeed alive.
100 knots.
Tipped.
Rotate.
9,000 feet remain.
Positive climb.
Up.
Second flaps, 1, 0.
0. Auto throttle.
CMBA
Pilot
active.
A engaged.
Speedbird 500 heavy, maintain 250 knots until passing 10,000 feet. Speedbird 500 heavy, continue climb by flight plan.
144 left at 91. 3.81 miles 002. 0 hours 1 minute.
Yeah, so we immediately turning.
Speedbird 500 heavy, comply with speed restrictions in the flight plan.
Yes, I will.
Europe, United Kingdom, England. Wellborough, Windsor and Maidenhead. Wellborough, Windsor and Maidenhead. Highland. Highland.
Okay. So we are turning at a speed of about 200 knots. So, Airbus, Boeing differences. The most obvious one in a physical cockpit, unless you're looking at the A300 and A310, and I'll always be excluding those when I'm talking about Airbus versus Boeing differences, because those two were kind of their own thing, actually. Anyway,
23 left of 53.
come on, when we finish turning? Okay. Airbus versus Boeing. So Boeing uses a control yoke and Airbus uses a side stick. Airbus also in the past had kind of more and stronger protections for the aircraft itself. So the alpha floor protection of an A320, for example, basically prevents you from stalling it unless you're called Air France 447, but there were different circumstances why that happened also. Boeing, I mean, they do have it now, but they didn't have it like 20 or 30 years ago, rather 30. Oh yeah, definitely 30 because the 777 is already 30, so it's insane. Yeah, my favorite plane's turning 30 this year. Or did turn 30. Anyway, also the thrust levers work differently because on Boeing planes they don't really have any detents. You have idle at the back and maximum continuous thrust at the front. And between that you can just move them around. Whatever you want to do, you can do it basically. And Airbus is different in that regard because Airbus thrust levers have detents, so one in the back for idle, which is hopefully where the thrust levers are whenever you're starting the engines, because
Speedbird 500 heavy, contact departure on 120.47, goodbye.
Frequency, set frequency in Gulf, Israel. Flightsim.
Speedbird 500 heavy, this is London Heathrow Airport departure, good afternoon. Continue by
Wait a
flight
minute.
plan
Wait a minute.
and maintain heading
Wait a minute.
towards
I'm over Richmond.
DP145.
Oh, I know that. I know that place. Haven't been there myself, but I know it. Oh, actually, I have been there, kind of. In Kew, which is right next door.
North Richmond.
Anyway, so Airbus thrust levers have detents, one in the back for idle. Then they usually just have the climb detent, which is the one that I'm in at the moment, where the auto thrust is also engaged. But between those, I've added a 40% detent for the stabilized engines before takeoff to allow you to check that more easily. And then you have the toga detent before the CLB, and that's basically your takeoff setting. So instead of pressing toga buttons, you push the thrust levers into a toga detent and the plane automatically selects toga. And then in the front you have the MCT, or max continuous thrust, which is basically for situations where you may need the maximum continuous thrust without damaging the engine. Like for example, if one engine fails or something and you are at 35,000 feet, which, yeah, you're way too high at that point. You should definitely descend, but still. So yeah, those are the most important differences.
Colder. Greater London. Colder.
Still above Greater London. Oh, okay. Yeah, so as I said, those are the most important differences, I think. And of course different names, as I already mentioned previously. But right now
15 left of 279.
he's doing his own thing, where climbing will pass through 6,000 feet pretty soon.
Transition altitude.
Yeah, now.
Active. Inactive.
Damn, I forgot the seatbelt
Engine
signs.
instrument. Autopilot. BFD Echo. Actors.
Damn
Flight
it.
plan. TCAS. Lighting panel.
Anyway,
Logo light. Strobe lights. Active. Taxi lights. Runway turn off lights. Landing lights. Active. Landing lights. Inactive.
let's get rid of those. Because I always follow certain operating procedures.
21.7.
The Flightsim SOPs, basically, which for me say that the landing lights will be turned off either when passing 10,000 feet or when passing the TA, whichever happens first. And they will be also turned on when passing the lower of those two. So for example, when I'm landing somewhere with a 15,000 feet TA, I'll turn the landing lights off and on both at 10,000, not at the TA.
England. Greater London. North Greenford.
Greenford. One of the least used railway stations is here actually. And one of the least used
EGLL, 6
shuttle
miles.
services also runs through here.
Green foot green.
Green foot green. That's kind of redundant.
Green foot green.
Okay.
Greater London. Northolt. Northolt.
Yeah, Northolt. Okay. Yeah, we're basically following out the central line of the London Underground right now.
Northolt.
How will we get to Ruislip?
Northolt Mandeville. Northolt Mandeville. Northolt Mandeville.
Not yet.
South Ruislip.
Yep. South Ruislip.
South Ruislip.
We're literally following the central line.
South Ruislip. South Ruislip. South Ruislip. South Ruislip.
Come on.
Ignore. Ignore.
Ichnam. Yeah, okay, now we're not. We've crossed over to the Metropolitan line now, and Piccadilly.
Ignore.
Will the next be Hillingdon or Uxbridge?
Ignore.
That would be kind of funny, because I really didn't plan that. Not that I could have,
Ignore.
but I didn't.
Off.
Let's get rid of the auto brake.
Uxbridge.
Yeah, Uxbridge. Okay. So for anyone who knows the London Tube map, you know what I'm laughing about. For everyone else, first we followed out a part of the central line between Greenfield and Ruislip, and then we moved over to the Metropolitan line and followed that one
Denham.
from Ickenham to Uxbridge.
Bakerswood. Bakerswood.
And now we were in Denham, which was a place that they wanted to extend the central line to during the 1930s and 40s and take over certain Great Western Railway tracks. Yeah, that happened.
TCA, Lightingham.
Come on, let's get some speed.
TCA, flight plan. Waypoint 5, Calais, 18,700 feet, 33.6 miles, 270 knots. Starting airport, TCA, Lighting, overhead, FMS, engine, autopilot.
Yeah, but
C, HDG, 270, 220.
220.
C, 200C, 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 260, 270.
That's kind of unnecessary.
Max up C, 270.
That's necessary.
HDG, 279, C.
Yeah.
South Bucks District, Buckinghamshire. England, Buckinghamshire.
No, we're for Buckinghamshire. Yeah, so don't worry, we won't be flying for 6 hours, because as soon as we've reached cruising altitude, I'll engage the time acceleration feature with probably 16 times as factor. So, yeah, that's also new, by the way. I added that recently.
120.47, London Control. 120.47, London Control.
Yeah, so we'll go hand it over to London Control apparently at some point. I missed that, I guess. Maybe I did it without noticing. It wouldn't be the first time.
3,016.1 miles, KJFK, 9 hours 47 minutes. 5,533.9, BFD.
Wait.
Autopilot, engine instrument EGT, N1, engine 2, engine 1, APU, active.
Yeah, let's get rid of that one. We won't need it in the end. We're passing through 14,000 feet right now, by the way. So we are climbing pretty fast.
38.87.
But we circled, kind of, because as soon as we had taken off, we literally turned around 180-degree turn to downwind and then followed along a easterly departure route. Probably because of the weather somewhere. Sometimes even I don't understand why it gives me a certain departure even though I programmed the thing. So yeah, that happens. But it makes sense from a wind perspective usually.
England, Buckinghamshire, Great Muller. Great Muller. London Heathrow Airport, EGLL, 16 miles.
Yeah, it's 16 miles away.
42.76.
And we've already flown 42 miles, so you see what happened there. But that happens, and I mean we have more than enough fuel with us, so should be fine, I guess, I hope, maybe. Yeah, it'll be fine. It all depends on the wind, which usually is kind of annoying over the Atlantic Ocean. Because we're flying to the west, and the wind on the Atlantic mostly goes from west to east. Meaning that we'll probably have quite a bit of headwind for the entire journey. But we'll see. 1,000 feet below our altitude for the next scheduled point.
39.64 miles to TEWXI, 0 hours 7 minutes, 2 right at 200
Okay, we already passed that one and moved to the next. Okay, so he just keeps telling. Yeah, that's nice. That's how it's supposed to be, actually. Yeah, the wind changes, so he has to accelerate again.
Weather, pressure, 400, wind from 193 degrees at 36 knots, gusts up to 38 knots, visibility, 42,623 feet, temperature, minus 33 degrees Celsius, viewpoint, minus 38 degrees Celsius. Autopilot. PSV, Echo, Packers, flight TCA, lighting panel, overhead panel, cabin altitude, 2,000, AX, electric, wind anti-ice, inactive. Wind anti-ice, engine anti-ice, engine anti-ice, active. Wind anti-ice, inactive, engine anti-ice, inactive.
Ah,
Echo, anti-ice, deactive,
right.
anti-ice, deactive.
He does that himself. So you should activate the anti-ice pretty soon, I think. Some planes do that automatically, some don't, and over the recent 2 weeks I mostly flew 777-800s, which don't do that automatically, so not that anything bad would happen at the moment if our wings or engines have ice on them, but I try to get in the habit of turning on and off the anti-ice at the correct moments, because I do plan to implement certain issues that may crop up whenever the wings or engines get iced over. So, like loss of lift, loss of thrust, compressor stalls and damage, and that's actually pretty horrific because that might literally lead to an engine failure. So don't do that. Just turn on the engine anti-ice. Just do it. Just turn it on. Well, unless you're taking off, then you don't want to turn it on because it costs you a lot of power. Oh, not a lot, but a bit. A few percent in one, and when you're on a short runway, so not like Heathrow or Frankfurt, that might make a difference. Yeah, there it is.
Anti-ice active. Anti-ice active.
So that was an ECAM message, the ping, telling me that the anti-ice is active now. And I don't know if you heard it, but the engines are working a bit harder. Yeah. So, where are we actually?
Europe, United Kingdom, England, Oxfordshire, Kingston Backviews with South Europe. Kingston Backviews with South Europe.
British place names. What?
Longworth, Longworth.
Oh, okay. No change.
Oxfordshire.
Oxfordshire. Ah, okay. I know where that is at least. Yeah, quoting certain mapmen from YouTube. Counties are the building blocks that make up Britain. They help you place towns and cities that you've not heard of in counties that you hopefully have heard of. So that's all they're for, basically.
Oxfordshire.
And there are 3 different kinds. Ceremonial, mayor, and administrative, I would say. Headache. Oh, it's raining.
Weather, pressure, 300, wind from 192 degrees at 24 knots, gusts up to 26 knots, visibility, 42,623 feet, temperature, minus 48 degrees Celsius, viewpoint, minus 63 degrees Celsius, light rain.
Yeah, light rain. Oh, and we entered the MAC region. So we're above 27,000 feet, and now we'll be following our MAC number and not the indicated airspeed.
0.84.
0.85 is our scheduled MAC number that this plane can do. The A350 is quite fast for an Airbus. I've actually flown on it from Frankfurt to Seattle over the summer, so I know it quite well from a passenger perspective. It's a nice plane, sure. I personally just prefer Boeing for some reason.
England, Gloucestershire, Colin St. Helens, Gloucestershire, Colin St. Helens, Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
RAF Federal, EGDA, 5 miles. RAF Federal, EGDA, 5 miles.
Yeah, that's the closest airport now. With the 9 key, you can also always check your closest airport.
RAF Federal, EGDA, 5 miles.
It'll also tell you the ICAO code. And with Shift 9,
EGDA copy to clipboard.
you can copy that to the clipboard and put it into the text box if you want that worked with that.
RAF Federal, EGDA, 6 miles.
Yes, I'm flying away from that one.
Gloucestershire. Colon St. Denis.
Should cross into Wales pretty soon, I think.
84.86.
A few miles probably, but in a few minutes we should. Already past 33,000 feet. Our
BFD.
cruising altitude today is flight level 400.
40,000 feet, 29.8 meadow, 40,000 feet, 27.2 miles, max 0 point, waypoint starting airport, EGLL, destination waypoint 60, KEDM, 5,300 feet.
Yeah, by the way, we have 60 waypoints for this route, which is pretty insane, but par for the course for Europe-America connections. That's pretty normal. I once had over 100. I don't know which flight I did there, but I once had over 100, which is pretty insane if you think about it. I think it was Frankfurt to Honolulu or something. Something that no reasonable person would do as one night. Anyway, probably means that I'm not a reasonable person, which is nothing new.
Weather, pressure, 200, wind from 199 degrees at 37 knots, gusts up to 39 knots, visibility, 32,131 feet, temperature, minus 60 degrees Celsius, viewpoint, minus 73 degrees Celsius, light rain.
Yeah, pretty cool, all things considered. Already passed flight level 357 just now. So 35,700 feet at standard pressure. Of course, because we're above our TA. Yeah, so we will get up to flight level 400 pretty easily, I think. Because our stall speed's pretty nice right now. It's at 185 and our current indicated airspeed is 270-ish. We only have a bit less than, pretty much about 3,000 feet of climb left, so yeah, it should work just fine.
England, Gloucestershire, London, London. 0 straight ahead at 282. 13.23 miles to Oxford, 0 hours 2 minutes. 2,946.9 miles to KJFK, 5 hours 54 minutes. Midfield view, Gloucestershire, England, midfield view. RAF Airport, EGLL, 29 miles.
So we just passed through 382.
Herefordshire, Hull Hill, Herefordshire, Herefordshire, England, Herefordshire, Walford. RAF Airport, EGLL, 32 miles.
It's just interesting to see where we are actually flying at the moment, so that's why I'm taking a look at the map pretty often.
111.43.
That's our distance until now. So as soon as we hit flight level 400, I'll be able to set the time acceleration to 16 times the normal value, meaning that we'll arrive in the US pretty fast.
Herefordshire, land down. Land down. RAF Airport, EGLL, 36 miles.
Come on, come on.
30.47.
Finish that, come on. Yeah, the managed time at descent, or VNAV, or profile, depending on what kind of plane you're flying, does gradual level offs, meaning that you won't just put down the nose by 10 degrees to level offs. So now we're flying. I just
Manage the LD/DS inactive.
Exactly 40,000.
Manage the LD/DS active.
That in again. And our current time to JFK would be
2,930.5 miles to KJFK, 5 hours 60 minutes. Set the same time acceleration rate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 16.
and now it is
2,926.2 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 22 minutes.
yeah. You see what I did there? By the way, our current N1 value fluctuates between 65 and 75%, so really low actually.
Line rusted. County of Cardiff, Wales. United Wales.
Oh, we're over
County
Wales,
of Cardiff.
finally.
Weather, pressure, 150. Wind from 198 degrees at 42 knots. Gusts up to 45 knots. Visibility, 6,098 feet. Temperature, minus 59 degrees Celsius. Viewpoint, minus 65 degrees Celsius. Light rain.
Why are you complaining?
Echo, overspeed. Overspeed,
Oh,
overspeed.
okay. Yeah, because the wind's annoying as heck. It's fine.
Zero point 81. Zeros, 2,817.6 miles to KJFK. 0 hours 22 minutes.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues with accelerating time the way I did, or the way I'm still doing, because it sometimes can't cope with differences in wind direction or strength.
Island, Leinster, Wexford, Island, Island, Europe, Island. Leinster, County Carlow, Kilkerry Bridge.
Oh, we're above Ireland. Leading to some overspeed warnings sometimes, and rapid shifts in thrust level. That's nothing to worry about, just something to
500 heavy. Contact Shannon Control on 121.7. Good day.
Frequency, set frequency in Gulfport, Israel. Flightsim.
Speedbird 500 Heavy, this is Shannon Control, good afternoon. Continue via flight plan and maintain heading towards TOMTO.
Yeah, well.
21.14 miles to VP026, 0 hours 0 minutes.
Oh, okay, we were way faster than the radio.
0.85.
Interesting.
2,704 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 22 minutes. Island, Munster, Clare, Bushy Park House. Shannon Airport, E, 10 miles. Shannon Airport, E, 15 miles. Shannon Airport, E, 18 miles.
Pretty insane how fast we are.
Shannon Airport, E, 24 miles.
Our current speed equals to about 16,000 kilometers per hour or 10,000 miles per hour, land miles per hour, not nautical ones. So pretty insane. Nautical would be about 8,000-ish, 8,500, something like that. 8,000 to 9,000 nautical miles an hour, or knots rather.
0.85. 2,605.2 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 20 minutes. North Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, so we're above water now, so try not to fall down. A350.
Shannon Airport, E, 112 miles.
Yeah, help is pretty far away. Okay, so
Accus, Echo, Accus, flight plan.
let's go plane spot.
Accus, Echo, BSV, Echo, Accus, flight TCAS.
There we are.
19, 18, 7, 6, 15 miles, 40, 30, 12, 11, 10, 9 miles, 8 miles, 40 miles.
Let's set the TCAS to 40 miles and see what's up there. Oh, nothing. Huh, that works. Okay,
21.94 miles long, 0 hours 0 minutes.
that's fine, I guess.
North Atlantic Ocean.
Completely alone.
2,504.1 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 19 minutes.
Now you see how fast that goes? It's really insane, actually.
4,724, 44,946, 44,970, 44,883.
The fuel flow is also accelerated, of course. So just increasing the frequency of time basically doesn't mean that you can fly further with the same amount of fuel. And the flight will also cost you the same and bring
Speedbird
the company the same
500 Heavy,
revenue.
contact Shanwick Oceanic Control on 124.17. Good day.
Frequency, set frequency in Gulfport, Israel. Flight
See if it'll be a good day.
500 Heavy. This is Shanwick Oceanic Control. Good afternoon. Continue via flight plan. And maintain heading towards H5317.
Oh, one of those points. Okay. Okay. One of the coordinate points. Yeah, but that does make kind of sense. That we have those because we're pretty far away from the next piece of land.
36.81 miles away, 5,319, 0 hours 0 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty far away, as I said.
Island West Knock Airport, BIKN, 335 miles.
That's the nearest airport.
Island West Knock Airport, BIKN, 345 miles.
Oh, damn. Remember that one A330 something operated by Air Transit, and I always forget the number, that tried to, or rather did, become a glider above the Atlantic Ocean and landed on the Azores. Yeah, so that happened a few years back, and it was because of a fuel leak. and because the pilots mistakenly thought that the left tank was leaking, but it was the right, if I remember correctly, and they pumped all the fuel into the right tank by the crossfeed valve, which equalized the fuel, yes, but also meant that they were running out of fuel really fast, like insanely fast, and they lost both engines pretty much directly after that, and had to fly down to Lajes Airport in the Azores for over 100 miles, if I remember correctly, without engine power of any kind, and they actually pulled it off, which is pretty insane. I mean, similar things can be said for a certain Hapag-Lloyd Airbus A310 flying from somewhere in Greece to Hanover in Germany with a landing gear failure, meaning that the gear wasn't retracted all the way, meaning that the drag was pretty insane. You can test all that out with Flightsim, by the way, whenever I release it, because the drag of the gear is simulated. And that meant that they were burning way more fuel than they were expecting, meaning that the fuel they had definitely wasn't enough. And the board computer system didn't show that fuel because it can't deal with a partially extended landing gear, which is something that I totally understand, because how the heck should the computer know in which position the landing gear got stuck? I mean, it can't. If it's only that the doors didn't lock, so they're closed but not locked, you probably won't feel much. But if the doors are open and the gear's hanging out, oh, you definitely will feel that. So the first officer actually wanted to land at quite a few airports, because he said to the captain that, hey, you know the landing gear issue? Yeah, that's eating into our fuel reserves, like literally. We don't have enough fuel to get to Hanover, Munich, or even Vienna, so let's land at Graz, which is in Styria, about 80 nautical miles south of Vienna. The captain said no. The captain said, no, I want to get to Vienna, and to be fair, they did. They lost both engines due to fuel starvation a few miles before the runway threshold, and
Speedbird 500
yeah,
heavy. Contact under Oceanic Control on 119.62. Have a safe flight.
Frequency 7.0 Alpha, Israel.
Speedbird 500 heavy. This is Gander Oceanic Control. Good afternoon. Continue via flight plan and maintain heading towards H5331.
Yeah, so anyway, Hapag-Lloyd, they lost both engines due to fuel starvation because of the landing gear issue. Barely managed to cross the airport fence and landed short of the runway by, I think it was a few thousand feet. So the plane landed, or it didn't really land, it half crashed a bit to the right of the center line, because that was literally the only time on this flight that the captain listened to the first officer, which is actually something that the investigation also showed. So that's not just me saying that, because he said that, if we line up with the central line and we hit the runway, it's fine. But if we have to land short of the runway, then it most definitely isn't fine, because then we'll get hit by the ILS antenna, meaning that we'll probably be obliterated from existence. So they landed with a bit of an offset to the center line and aimed for runway 34, which is actually, I stood there. I literally stood there where this plane passed over the airport fence only a few months ago, when I was plane spotting at Vienna. Yeah, and they almost hit the car of the airport superintendent, because of course they did. The nose gear collapsed, meaning that the airplane slid along with kind of looking like a duck trying to put its head underwater and keeping the tail out of the water. It must have looked pretty weird. And they came to a stop past where the ILS antennas would have been, so yes, they would have hit them if they had lined up with the satellite. So good call on that from the first officer, who was actually commended for his attitude and airmanship during this whole fiasco, because remember, he wanted to land quite a few miles earlier, and they probably would have gotten down this plane in crowds without any issues. So yeah, it was that close. It was 80 miles close. And they evacuated. Of course, there were some injuries, but no fatalities. And after that, the superintendent who watched all this walked onto the plane and forward to the two pilots, because he wanted to know if he could send away the fire brigade, which obviously had been informed of this aircraft approaching and being in the right state. And he asked, yeah, how much fuel do you have? And the captain said, basically, none, of course. Why do you think we're lying here? So he wasn't the friendliest. Actually, he was pretty rude even for Viennese standards. Vienna was voted as the rudest city in the world multiple times in a row, actually, so I get it. I lived in Vienna for over 10 years, so I know. And he walked out and said, yeah, okay, fine. And yeah, the captain lost his license for pulling that stunt. The first officer was suspended for a while, but the investigation was ongoing, which is the usual thing to do. I mean, it does make sense. Until you know what actually happened, you have to suspend the people that may or may not have been involved. That's always a good call, in my opinion. So he was suspended, but he did get back to flying. I don't know if he's still flying today. I'm not sure how old he was back then, but I think he might well be. So, yeah. If you want to learn more about this incident, just Google Vienna International Airport, ICAO code Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey on Wikipedia, and you'll probably find it listed under accidents and incidents. So, yeah. Oh, and the last VOR beacon that they took a navigational reading from was the VOR Solenau, which is literally only 5 kilometers away from my house. So, this plane flew over my house. Probably without engines at that point. Or maybe they still barely had them, I don't know. But yeah, pretty insane.
1,316.9 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 12 minutes.
Oh, and I managed to talk about over 8 minutes about this single incident. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Anyway, so regarding Flightsim, because there have been a few questions. First of all, if you have any questions regarding Flightsim, ask in the comments, feel free. Or you can join the WhatsApp community. If you know Transport World Simulator, then it's in the docs folder. There's a credits document, and the link at the end is the one to the WhatsApp community for all my games, including Transport World Simulator, Flightsim, and their groups in both German and English. I also have a Discord server, which is linked in the description. Same with my Patreon page, just in case you want to support me. You don't have to, but if you want to, I'd be grateful. Yeah, regarding Flightsim itself and a release date, I can't tell you when I'll release it. I can't promise anything. There are still things I want to implement and work on. But we're already on a good way, I think. And it'll be donationware whenever I release it, so you can download it for free, but you can of course also support me, which is something that I'd be really happy about if you did, because I spent thousands of hours programming this stuff, literally. So, yeah, any money that you may have to spare, and where you say, yeah, I'd like to donate something for this game that hopefully gives you a lot of enjoyment, I'd really appreciate that. Same goes for Transport Books. You can also donate when you download it on EGLL or, as I said, via Patreon. There should be different membership levels with different prices, so I think that's something for everybody who wants to. But as I said, don't feel forced to donate. I'd be happy if you did that.
Labrador Sea.
So we're above the Labrador Sea.
1,089 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 10 minutes.
So we're probably crossing to North American airspace pretty soon.
Gander International Airport / CSV Gander. CYQX. 116 miles.
Those distances are pretty insane over the Atlantic Ocean.
Gander International Airport / CSV Gander. CYQX. 103 miles. Labrador Sea. 16.
That's our current acceleration factor. We can check this with
16.
F11. With F12 we can check the current UTC time.
15:41.
And with Shift F12 the current time of the place that we're flying over.
11:42.
So, yeah. The time zone for the places that we're flying over leaves EGLL access. Same with the real world weather, obviously.
Canada. Newfoundland and Labrador. Carmichael.
Newfoundland, which wasn't a new island or newly found by any stretch of the imagination when the British landed there. Because there were already some Norse and Inuit people living there, but the first Brit who landed on the shores of Newfoundland just thought, well, I just found it. It's obviously new, so let's call it Newfoundland. And Newfoundland became Newfoundland. So...
Newfoundland and Labrador. Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Canada. Bishop Falls. Newfoundland and Labrador. Rattling Brook Depot. Rattling Brook Depot. Grand Falls, Windsor. Grand Falls, Windsor. Grand Falls. Grand Falls. Redcliffe. Newfoundland and Labrador. Watchy Pond. Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador. Badger. Badger. .9 miles to KJFK. 0 hours 8 minutes.
We are pretty fast. Don't worry about the time acceleration being on when you're approaching the airport. By the way, it won't be because it'll turn itself off as soon as the aircraft climbs or descends. And it also won't turn itself on again after leveling off.
Budgets. Newfoundland and Labrador. North America. Canada. Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador. 47.972 minus 58.303.
That's our current position. So we flew kind of a bit of a circle because when drawing a route between two places on the Earth, the straight line actually isn't the shortest distance. The shortest distance is the so-called Great Circle distance, where you fly closer to the poles and basically do a smooth circle, or a part of a circle rather, to get to your destination. That's the shortest way.
Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada.
And we did that. Our, quote, highest point on the Earth was at about 54 degrees latitude today. We started at 51 and we're now down at
47.266 minus 50.262-ish.
So, yeah,
Inverness County.
The Great Circle
Canada.
distance does make a difference.
Nova Scotia. Inverness County.
Nova Scotia.
Inverness County.
Why is there a county named after
Speedbird
Nova
500
Scotia?
Heavy. Contact Moncton Control on 118.6. Good day.
Frequency. Set frequency. Airfield. Missile. Flightsim.
Speedbird 500 Heavy. This is
And yes, my
Moncton
flight
Control.
number is
Good morning.
500 because
Continue by
500
flight plan
subscribers.
and maintain heading towards Nightcura.
Nova Scotia.
By the way, thanks to all subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed yet and liked this video, then please do. I'd appreciate it.
Kings County. Prince Edward Island. Canada. Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. Those names are so British, which kinda makes sense. Because Canada was a British colony for the longest time. the US also were a British colony for quite a short time, all things considered, only about 200 years.
Kings County.
Pretty much.
Prince Edward Island. Canada. Morale.
But yeah, they were.
Canada. Prince Edward Island. Kings County. Canada. Glenroy. Bedford Corner. Queens County. Suffolk. Suffolk. Queens County. Royalty Junction. Royalty Junction. Cornwall. Cornwall. Queens County. Prince Edward Island. Canada. Bonjour. Bonjour. 0 straight ahead at 560.4 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes. Until we're literally directly above the airport, but the time acceleration will probably be turned off in about 350-ish miles, because then we'll start descending.
Nova Scotia. Cumberland County. 1.
Oh, there's Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Cumberland County. Lower Cove. 512.1 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 4 minutes. Cumberland County. Nova Scotia. East Apple River. West Apple River. West Apple River. West Apple River. Cumberland County. Nova Scotia. Cumberland County. Nova Scotia. 474.1 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 4 minutes. St. John County. New Brunswick. St. John County. St. John County. St. John Airport. CYFJ. 16 miles.
Oh, that's close.
St. John Airport. CYFJ. 23 miles. 426.2 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 4 minutes.
So we'll probably be handed over to an American
118.6. Molten control.
ATC station pretty soon. I'd suspect Boston, but that depends all on how we actually fly into the United States. I'm not sure if we'll fly over Maine or directly Massachusetts. We'll see. I think Maine, but not sure.
Canada. New Brunswick.
I'll keep an eye on the map.
Gulf of Maine. Gulf of Maine.
Yeah, Maine.
Gulf of Maine.
I think, I mean, we are above the Gulf of Maine.
Gulf of Maine.
So, I think...
6.15 miles. KDF4G. 0 hours 0 minutes.
Heavy. Contact Boston Control on 118.42.
Frequency. Set frequency.
118.42.
Flightsim.
Speedbird 500 Heavy. This is Boston Control. Good morning. Continue via flight plan and maintain heading towards BOYCC.
63.97 miles to BOYCC. 0 hours 1 minutes.
Yeah, well...
302.5 miles to KJFK. 0 hours 3 minutes.
That'll be nice.
Gulf of Maine.
Maybe.
Flight plan. Waypoint 53, BOYCC, 40,000 feet, 80 waypoint 54, canal, 40,000 feet, waypoint 55, Whitby, 40,000 feet, 28.5 miles, waypoint 56, Society, 40,000 feet, 34 point, waypoint 57, FOXWD, 38,000 feet, 32.2 miles, max 0.85. Waypoint 58, Fun, 27,900 feet, waypoint 59, West Toe, 16,600 feet, waypoint 60, KEDM, 5,300 feet, destination airport, KJFK, 10, 16 miles, starting airport, EGLL, 82. TCAS, lighting pan, overhead pan, FMS, DFMS, engine is autopilot, max select, 0.85, speed, 270, HPG, 241, active, manage CLB/DES, active, all select, 40,000, CMDB, inactive, CMDA, versus, 0, inactive PCLB/DES, active, auto thrust, active, max select, 0.8 speed, 270, Gulf of Maine.
Yeah, so everything's fine over there in this panel.
Gulf of Maine. 42.65, minus 70.091.
Yeah. 42 degrees latitude. Remember, we were at 54 at the highest point of the route. So, yeah.
42.523, Mach 1 right at 247. 183.2 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 2 minutes. 32.31 miles to sighting, 0 hours 0 minutes.
We'll start descending pretty soon, I think.
Massachusetts Bay.
Yeah, Massachusetts Bay.
Massachusetts
Will
Bay.
we fly over Maine or not?
North America, United States, Massachusetts, Norfolk County.
Oh, we do.
Town of Norwich.
Massachusetts. So, not above Maine, but still through Boston. And the time acceleration just turned off.
148.7 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 20 minutes.
Apparently the approach will take almost as long as the entire flight. Okay. That's fine, I guess.
United States, Massachusetts, Norfolk County, Cliftonville. Logan International Airport, KOS, 16 miles.
That's Boston, by the way. I could divert now, but I don't want to. I want to finish this.
Massachusetts, Norfolk County, Cedar Hill. Logan International Airport, KOS, 18 miles. 143.7 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 19 minutes.
So we are descending already. Because there's the flight level 385.
0.85.
That's what it said. So pretty normal. Our N1 value fluctuates a bit between 57 and 61. That's also normal for descending. Now it's a bit higher because it leveled off.
23.73 miles to left LED. Engine instrument FMS. Status page FMS. Overhead lighting DCAS. Flight plan. Waypoint 50. Starting airport. Waypoint 57. FOXWD. 38,000 feet. 22.79 miles to left LED.
Ah, okay.
Set the sim time acceleration to 3, 4, 8, 12, 16.
Let's accelerate the time again.
12.83 miles to left LED. 0 hours 0 minutes. 7.75 miles to left LED. 0 hours 0 minutes. 117.5 miles to KJFK. 0 hours 15 minutes. 117.2 miles to KJFK. 0 hours 15 minutes.
Because sometimes there are level offs in the descent. That is something that simply does happen. And if there is one and it's longer than, let's say, 10 miles, then you might want to think about accelerating the time again, because it'll shave off quite a bit of flight time. So I just did that and saved us 3 minutes. And I think I know most of you when I say that you probably only want to see takeoff and landing areas. The cruise probably isn't that interesting, which makes sense. It's the same for me. Like that's the reason why I implemented the time acceleration. So, yeah.
Waypoint 59, west turn, 16,600 feet, 33.9 miles, 60.83 miles to west turn, 0 hours 8 minutes. Starting airport, waypoint 59, west turn, 16,600 feet, 33.9 miles, 270 knots. 1 right at 233, 59.94 miles to west turn, 0 hours 8 minutes. Waypoint 60, KEDM, 5,300 feet, 33.7 mile, waypoint 59, west turn. 1 right at 233, 108.3 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 14 minutes.
So we'll be handed over to JFK approach at about 60 miles distance, so in about 45 miles.
105.7 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 14 minutes.
Yeah, 45 miles is something about 4 to 6 minutes, somewhere in that region. Yeah, and then I contact JFK and they'll tell us which runway to expect. That might well shave a bit off of our remaining flight distance, depending on which runway we get. If we get a 2-2, then our approach will be pretty short. If we get a 0-4 or something, it'll be pretty long because we'll literally have to fly across the airfield at Truro. So, yeah, we'll see.
United States, Connecticut. Northeastern Connecticut, 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 Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Southeastern Connecticut planning region. Canada.
Company message.
That was the weather for JFK at the moment, which is...
No economic show. Accuracy. Weather. Pressure. 1023. Wind from 301 degrees at 10 knots. Visibility. 42,623 feet. Temperature. Minus 3 degrees Celsius. Dew point. Minus 10 degrees Celsius. Broken glass.
So we'll probably get to 3-1, I think.
Speed bird 500 heavy. Continue descent via flight plan.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Weather. Pressure. 1023. Wind from 301 degrees at 10 knots. Visibility. 42,623 feet. Temperature. Minus 3 degrees Celsius. Dew point. Minus 10 degrees Celsius. Broken glass.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Weather. Pressure. 1,000 items available.
That's fine. Let's get the 80s.
Company message.
You can request that in text form, but I'll also listen to it soon.
This is KJFK. Access information. Time 50:00. Weather. Pressure 1023. Wind from 301 degrees at 10 knots. Visibility 42,623 feet. Temperature minus 3 degrees Celsius. Dew point minus 10 degrees Celsius. Broken clouds. Runway news. 31R. Runway condition. Dry. This is KJFK. And no access items available.
So
118.42. Boston control. 113.75. Addis. Frequency. Set frequency in Gulf. Israel.
I'll switch over to the 80s.
Flightsim.
Echo Golf Lima information uniform.
Ah, that's still London.
10 QNH 1002 wind from 182 degrees at 10 knots gusts up to 22 knots visibility more than 10,000 feet temperature 1 degrees
true.
Celsius,
We aren't yet in the
2.6 degrees
airspace of
Celsius, covering clouds
JFK,
runway
so we
news
can't get
27
the
left runway dry advise you have
JFK
information
80s.
uniform on initial contact.
But you know what it sounds like.
118.42. Boston control. Frequency. Set frequency in Gulf. Israel. Flight.
Let's switch over to Boston again. And I will request the 80s again when we've crossed into the airspace of JFK, so after our handover.
87 miles KJFK. 0 hours 11 minutes.
which should take place in about 2 minutes.
Southeastern Connecticut planning region. Milestone corner. Milestone corner.
Milestone Corner, really?
Bradley International Airport. KDDL. 31 miles.
Kinda like that name, Milestone Corner.
Haywardville. Haywardville. Lower Connecticut River Valley planning region. 84.7 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 11 minutes.
So we are slowing down a bit because we've just crossed through 27,000 feet, meaning we are now at the indicated airspeed flight levels, and our speed restriction is to 70, and he's currently slowing down. That's why we barely hear the engines.
Connecticut. Lower Connecticut River Valley planning. Mount Parnassus. 78.5 miles. KJFK. 0 hours 11 minutes. Weather, pressure, 300, wind from 296 degrees at 85 knots, gusts up to 92 knots, visibility, 42,623 feet, temperature, minus 52 degrees Celsius, dew point, minus 58 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so we should get rid of the anti-ice pretty soon. I hope. Sorry.
Connecticut, Lower Connecticut River Valley planning region, Cedar Lake. Calvin Executive Airpark, K3CH, 32 miles.
Yeah, that was the anti-ice beam turned off
Anti-ice deactivated.
automatically.
Access. .7 miles, KJFK, 0 hours 12 minutes. 21.25 miles to Western, flight plan. United States, Connecticut, Lower Connecticut River Valley, Killingworth. TCAS, lighting plan. TC flight packets, Echo, BFD, autopilot. Max select speed, 270. Engine of FNS, closing flight current airport. Starting airport, EGLL, 6,000. Destination airport, KJFK, 18,000. Takeoff runway EGLL, 27L. Landing runway KJFK. Minimum fuel, 34,540. Cruising flight level, 400. 19,623.
Still have 20.
Engine instrument autopilot. Max select, speed, 270.
Yeah, the minimum fuel that the computer gave us will probably turn out to be pretty accurate.
2013.9.
But as I said, because of the winds doing the windy thing over the Atlantic, I increased that by about 16 tons. Because it's an A350, it can't cope with that. It doesn't really mind, I mean, it burns a bit more, but other than that, it's fine.
Engine instrumentation. FNS, data plan. Maximum number of passengers, 369. Number of souls, 365. Flight number, speed of 500. Type, Airbus A350 1000.
Yeah, Speedbird, obviously, because the British Airways call sign is Speedbird.
Engines, 2X Rolls-Royce Trent XWB-97. Max speed, 513. Cruising speed, 488. Cruising Mach number, 0.85. Service ceiling, 41,410. Current maximum altitude, 41,410. Maximum range, 8,402. Current range, 2,949. MTOW, 316,000.
Maximum takeoff weight, yeah, we were way below that, actually.
NLW, 270,000. Current weight, 212,688.
Yeah, we're also way below the maximum landing weight, which is great.
Maximum number of passengers, 369. FNS, engine is autopilot.
I hate overweight landings for some reason.
Max select, speed, 270.
Probably because they just shouldn't be done.
60.8 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 11 minutes.
I obviously did some, just to test how the aircraft behaves, but it shouldn't be done. .7 miles to KJFK, 0 hours 11 minutes. 125.7. John F. Kennedy International Airport, 118.42. So they'll hand me over soon.
Speedbird 500 heavy. Contact approach on 125.7.
115.1. KJFK address. 115.1 KJFK Airbus. Frequency. Set frequency in Belfort, Israel.
Let's listen to the
Flightsim.
Kilo, Juliet, Foxtrot, Kilo, information, November, time 1600 QNH 1023, wind from 304 degrees and 11 knots, gusts up to 22 knots, visibility more than 10,000 feet, temperature minus 3 degrees Celsius, dew point minus 10 degrees Celsius, broken clouds, runway in use, 31 right, runway, dry, advise you have information, November, on initial contact.
Yeah, we will.
125.7 John F. Kennedy International Airport approach. Frequency. Set frequency in Belfort, Israel.
Let's go to 125.7 for the approach and
Approach clearance.
directly request approach to so I can to go.
Active.
Speedbird 500 Heavy. This is John F.
Select the approach
Kennedy
procedure.
International Airport approach.
RNAV,
Good morning.
ILS.
Continue via flight plan
RNAV
and
visual.
maintain heading
Random,
towards
ILS,
Western.
RNAV.
Speedbird
like to get an
500 Heavy. Expect vectors for RNAV approach for runway 31 right.
Yeah,
Select
I
landing
will.
runway KJ22R, 04R, 22L, 30L, 31R, length 10,000, width 200.
That's plenty long enough. 10,000 feet, almost.
Select the approach
3
procedure.
kilometers.
RNAV.
RNF, and now it's creating that approach at the background, so I'll wait for that.
65.9 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 12 minutes. 65.6 miles, 41.25 miles to Woolach, RNAV.
Yeah, the approach is a bit longer than planned now, but that's
Engine
fine.
FNS, overhead pan, lighting pan, TCAS, flight plan. Starting airport, EGLL, 82. Access. Flight plan, waypoint 1, Woolach, 5,400 feet, 6.5 miles, 250 knots. TCA, lighting overhead, FN, engine and autopilot. Max select, speed, 270. Speed, 280. Speed, 270. Max select, auto thrust, active. Connecticut. South Central Connecticut planning region.
Still over Connecticut. Oh, okay.
South Central Connecticut. Calvin Executive Airpark, K3C8, 13 miles. 60.7 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 11 minutes. South Central Connecticut planning region. Engine to FNS, overhead pan, lighting pan. Runway, landing lights, inactive.
Let's turn on the landing lights so that I don't forget them.
Landing lights, active.
And set the auto brake to medium.
New York, Suffolk County.
New York State, not New York City.
.9 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 10 minutes. 32.28 miles to Woolach, RNAV, 0 hours 6 minutes.
By the way, we're keeping the speed now whilst descending with pretty much idle engines because the flight idle on this plane is 28% and our engine thrust setting fluctuates between 29 and 30. So that's the power of descending, which is something that if you have played Eurofly before this simulator, you'll definitely have to get used to. Same with climbing, because you will need more thrust to climb, as you do in reality. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter if you're just flying around with a plane that does actually have an auto throttle and all that fun stuff. But if you're flying around without that, looking at you, looking at TriStar, then it certainly does matter.
New York, Suffolk County, Mount Sinai.
Because then you have to pull back the thrust levels whenever you're leveling off or descending, and push them forward whenever you're climbing or whenever you want to climb in advance. So before actually pulling up the nose, because otherwise you will slow down. It will happen.
Runway turn off, landing lights, overhead, FN, engine to autopilot, nav, auto thrust, active. Max speed, 270. Speed, 260, speed, 250. Set speed brakes, 1, 2.
Speed brakes to help with slowing down this aircraft. Because as I said, we're already descending with idle and keeping 270 knots, so I do need a bit of speed brakes to slow down to 250. At least if I want to do so in a reasonable amount of time.
Set speed brakes, 1.
No, we did.
Set speed brakes, 0.
Probably put the speed brakes back in.
Set speed brakes,
not
1.
really. Let's leave 1. Set it all. just so it does keep the speed somewhat. Because our descent angle is pretty shallow. Our nose is
minus 1.2.
1.2 degrees below the horizon. So, not that shallow actually.
Minus 2.7.
Yeah, that's our glide path. 2.7 degrees below the horizon. So, pretty normal.
43.9 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 9 minutes. 19.43 miles to Wheelock, RNAV, 0 hours 4 minutes.
That's our first waypoint, by the way, for the RNAV approach. How many waypoints do we have?
Status FNS, overhead, lighting, TCAS, flight plan.
Let's take a look.
Waypoint 2, plant, waypoint 1, Wheelock, 5,400 feet, 6.5 miles, 250 knots. Waypoint 2, plant, 4,200 feet, 6.5 miles, 220 knots. Waypoint 3, Helen, 3,000 feet, 10.3 miles, 220 knots. Destination airport, KJFK, 10, 7.5 miles. Waypoint 3, Helen, 3,000 feet, 10. Destination airport, KJFK, 10, 7.5 miles. Starting airport, EGLL, 82.
Okay, I need to descend quite quickly, because there's apparently a 3,000 feet height restriction.
TCAS, lighting, overhead, FNS, engine instrument,
We
autopilot.
have 7.5 miles to descend. I'll pull it off somehow, I think. We'll see.
Engine instrument, FNS, stick, engine instrument, autopilot. Max select, speed, 250.
They'll probably throw out the managed climate descent pretty soon, just to allow me more time to slow down. Although with the speed brakes this plane has, I probably won't need that. It'll be fine.
Long Island MacArthur Airport, KISS, 4 miles. Long Island MacArthur Airport, KISS, 4 miles.
Okay, oh god, of this thing is KISS. Really?
Long Island MacArthur Airport, KISS, 5 miles.
Yes.
Long Island MacArthur Airport, KISS, 5 miles.
Ha!
Great River, Suffolk County, New York, United States.
Okay, so let's go through the economic stats of this flight.
Current costs, $99,372.
That's how much we have to pay.
Income, $201,238.
That's our income.
Current earnings, $101,866.
Nice, so we're making quite a bit of profit actually.
Choose an option. Passengers, fuel.
I did not want that.
Max select, speed, 250.
I accidentally activated the rampage menu by pressing F4.
The moorings. Suffolk County, New York. Long Island MacArthur Airport, KISS, 8 miles. 33.1 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 8.68 miles to Wheelock, RNAV, 0 hours 2 minutes.
That's our first waypoint for the RNAV approach. The total distance.
31.8 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 7 minutes.
It tells you the airport's ICAO code, and also the approach time, if that has already been selected. If not, it will just tell you the ICAO code.
North America, United States, New York, Suffolk County, Kismet. 30.4 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 7 minutes. 5.95 miles to Wheelock, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute.
And that's the distance to the next waypoint on the route.
Zero straight ahead at 204.
Level of 1,000 feet. Of altitude, not distance. And about flight level 53.
Kismet. Suffolk County. Republic Airport, KFRG, 11 miles. 3.1 miles to Wheelock, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute.
Current and one is 45%, and that only because of the speed brakes. If I retracted those, it would probably drop to 28, which I honestly don't really want to happen, because whenever he starts to descend a bit more quickly, the aircraft will gain speed.
6.9 miles to Black. Max select, zip speed, 250. Set speed brakes. 2. Max select speed, 250. Engine FNS, overhead lighting panel. TCAS, flight plan, waypoint, starting airport, waypoint 2, plant, 4,200 feet, 6.5 miles, 220 knots. TCAS, lighting, overhead, FNS, engine autopilot. Max speed, 250.
He should slow down.
5.66 miles to Black, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute. 5.35 miles to Black, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute. 5.14 miles to Black, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute. Max speed, 250, Suffolk County, Oak Beach. Republic Airport, KFRG, 12 miles. 4.59 miles to Black, RNAV, zip speed, 240, speed, 230. Speed, 220.
Slow down myself. that beeping noise wasn't me, that was over the radio somewhere.
3.75 miles to land. RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute. Set speed brakes. 1. 2.29 miles to land. RNAV, 0 hours 20 miles to KJFK. RNAV, 0 hours 6 minutes. Engine FMS, overhead lighting panel. TCAS. Flight plan. Waypoint 3, Helen, 3,000 feet, 10.3 miles, 220 knots. Destination airport, KJFK. Set speed brakes. 2.
Can barely keep the speed.
TCA lighting overhead FM, engine autopilot BFD. Altitude heading 208.
The aircraft loves to fly, apparently. Which makes sense, it's an aircraft, but still.
United States, New York, Suffolk County, West Jogger Beach. Republic Airport, KFRG, 11 miles, 18 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 5 minutes.
5 minutes at this speed. It'll take a bit longer because I'll probably slow down a bit earlier than I need to on the approach, just to play it safe.
9.6 miles to Allen, RNAV, 0 hours 3 minutes. 9.52 miles to Allen, RNAV, 17 miles to KJFK, autopilot engine FMS, overhead lighting panel, TCAS. Flight plan, starting airport, EGLL, waypoint 3, Helen, 3,000 feet, 10.3 miles, 220 knots. Destination airport, TCA lighting, overhead FMS, engine autopilot, BFD. Altitude, heading 287. 8.73 miles to Allen, RNAV, 0 hours 3 minutes. Manage CLB/DES, inactive, autopilot. Max select, speed 220, speed 200.
The navigation is still doing its job, the lateral one. So it's enough, but I turned off the manage climate descender because I want to decelerate a bit earlier, and she'd probably override me on that to follow the flight plan, which I don't want to do at the moment, and I also want to go a bit lower.
6.88 miles to Allen.
Not much, but just precisely 3,000 feet or something to make it a bit easier on the approach for the airplane itself.
Speed 190. Speed 180.
Back to 180 without issue. That's fine.
6.01 miles to Allen. RNAV, 0 hours 2 minutes. New York, Nassau County, point lookout. 31. 30.
That's our current flight level.
30. 30. Max select, 0.85, auto thrust, active, nav, active, OPCLB/DES, inactive, versus 0, NCMDA, active, CMDB, inactive, all select, 3000, manage CLB/DES, inactive. 12.2 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 4 minutes, 4.54 miles to Allen, RNAV, 0 hours 2 minutes. Second flaps, 1. HDG, speed, max select, speed, 180.
Yeah, as I said, I already start configuring the aircraft for landing.
Speed, 170. Speed, 160. New York, Nassau County, point lookout.
Mostly because I actually want to be able to talk whilst landing.
Second flaps, 1 plus F, 2.
More time than usual.
Speed, 150. Second flaps, 3. Speed, 140. 10.2 miles to KJFK, RNAV, 0 hours 5 minutes.
So we're flying at 140 knots. Our current stall speed is 116. I can go lower, but I don't have to.
New York, Nassau County, point lookout.
So
9.4 miles to KJFK, 1.83 miles to Allen, RNAV, 0 hours 1 minute.
we should get onto the final
John F. Kennedy International Airport, KJFK, 9 miles.
soon, and JFK is already the closest airport, which is always a good sign. So we'll have to turn pretty soon.
RNAV final approach identified.
Speedbird 500 heavy. Contact tower on 119.1.
Frequency, set frequency in Gulf, Israel. Flight
Speedbird 500 heavy. This is John F. Kennedy International Airport Tower.
Set speed brakes, 3, 4, 5. 4, 3.
I'm way too high, that's why he's complaining.
7.97.
And I actually know
Set speed brakes, 4. Set speed brakes, 5.
2,500.
Set speed brakes. 4, 3.
Down.
Gear down and locked.
Set flaps. 4.
Flaps full.
Minus 2.6.
Speedbird 500 heavy, 129 degrees at 10 knots. Runway 31 right cleared to land.
Think rate.
Thank you.
Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate.
We're a bit too
Think
low.
rate.
2000.
Think rate.
6.23 miles to KJFK. RNAV. 0 hours 3 minutes. Maximum speed 140.
Company
BFD Echo Packers.
message.
This is KJFK and its information. M. Time 16:00. Weather pressure 1023. Wind from 298 degrees at 11 knots. Visibility. This is KJFK Echo BFD. Autopilot. Maximum speed 140.
Okay, so I
Speed
can
130.
slow down to 130 without issue. Because I have a rule, I always take the stall speed at 10 knots and add half of the total wind, or rather the headwind component, which currently is almost the entirety of the wind, so almost 100%.
Think rate.
And yeah, that gives us 111 plus 10 is 121 plus half of the headwind, so half of 10 is 5. Meaning we get an approach speed for me today of about 126, and I just selected 130 on the autopilot panel, so it'll keep us at about 128 to 132, which is totally fine. Our current
Weather pressure 1022. Wind from 306 degrees at 22 knots. Gusts up to 24 knots. Visibility 42,623 feet. Temperature minus 9 degrees Celsius. Dew point minus 10 degrees Celsius.
Think rate. Think rate.
keeping us on the happy glide path system. Sync rate means too low, glide slope means too high. If the glide slope sound is pitched up, then you're way too high. If the sync rate sound is pitched down, then you're way too low.
1000.
That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Checked.
Think rate. Think rate.
So we are configured.
Full.
Flaps full.
Max select 0.85.
Gears down.
Auto thrust. Max select 0.85. Speed 130.
Our speed is 130.
Max slash off. Med.
Auto brake is medium, so that's fine. We're approaching
John F. Kennedy International Airport. KJFK. 4 miles.
So that's
2.5 miles to KJFK. RNAV. 0 hours 1 Nassau County. Village of Valley 3. United States. New York. Nassau County. Village of Valley 3.
Approaching 3, 1, right.
Think rate.
I actually
Think
don't
rate.
remember what kind of
Think
approach
rate.
I did during
Think
the
rate.
last video. It was also an RNF or an ILS. Not sure.
500. 100 above. 400. Minimum
Continue.
300.
Autopilot.
Think rate.
CMDA. At CMDA. Inactive.
Think rate.
Alright, I need to get to this
200.
number.
100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. 10. Retard.
9,000 feet remaining. 8,000 feet remaining.
60
Reverses.
7,000 feet remaining.
We've landed successfully. We're standing already.
Parking brake active.
With quite a bit of headwind.
Weather pressure 1021. Wind from 304 degrees at 18 knots. Gusts up to 19 knots. Visibility 42,623 feet. Temperature minus 5 degrees Celsius. Dew point minus 10 degrees Celsius. 121.65. John F. Kennedy International Airport ground. Frequency. Set frequency in Garfield, Israel. Flightsim.
Yeah, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, this 500 subscriber special. Thanks again for subscribing if you have, and if you haven't, then maybe you want to do so. And as I said, this project is still in development. I'll let you know whenever I have more news about a possible release date or something, but it'll still take a while, so don't get your hopes up too early. But what I can say is that the release will happen, but as I said, it'll take time. Especially because I also have to study for uni and all that fun stuff. Anyway, I hope to see you soon again. Feel free to share this video with any people you think might be interested in it, and see you soon.
320 to Bravo.